I'm Andy Scholes. I'm the project manager and construction manager here at Liverpool Street Crossrail station. Attracted into rail goes all the way back to when I first decided to study civil engineering at university. One of the main things I did was look at the student guidebook and pick careers from the student guidebook, and civil engineering was one of them. And then when I went to uni at Liverpool John Moores, I then did civil engineering, of which one of the modules was railways, and I ended up building a section of tunnel in a lab, shoveling 21 tonnes of sand in and putting sensors onto this pieces of rail and testing it, and I ended up meeting the London Underground infrastructure engineer, Mike Gallatley, and we got talking about railways and what you wanted to do, and I always said I would never come to London, and the project went really well, and we sent the findings to LU just as an aside. But we then did a high-speed rail project for the Northwest, where we did a lot of design work and stuff, and so I got quite involved with it, and then I got the opportunity to actually visit London Underground on sort of like a summer break. And came down to London, met one of the infrastructure protection engineers for London Underground, and we went for a walk. Went for a walk down from Queen's Park station down the tunnel on the Bakerloo line, and from then on it was this is interesting, this is good, this. And then I sort of started hatching a sort of 50-year plan in my head as to what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. So from in that initial look in the student guidebook, I sort of plotted the civil engineering element of it, and then sort of fell into railways from the projects that we did at uni. Most about my current job. My current job is project manager and construction manager here at Liverpool Street Station. This is one of the finest stations on Crossrail, and when it opens on the Elizabeth line later on, it's going to be awesome. It is just walking through here and seeing the cathedral-like state of the station. It is just brilliant. I've worked at Crossrail for about 11 years on and off. I've had a couple of year stint at Gatwick Airport, and I've come back as the project manager here to help get Liverpool Street over the line. But what I enjoy most about it is actually just seeing it finished. I'm working at Farringdon. I did a visit to there yesterday as well, and seeing how finished that is as well. It is just awesome. When people come into the station, we're quite focused now on the minutiae of detail to get it over the line. But when people actually walk into the place, they get the sense of feeling of how brilliant this railway actually is. There's a lot of challenging parts now. We're at the 95% complete, and that last 5% getting it over the line is the most challenging. It's all the little bitty things that we've put off that we just need to get sorted now is actually quite challenging. A lot of the difficult things, a lot of the difficult finishes that we've pushed to the end of the list now needs to be addressed. We need to get all the testing and commissioning done and actually make sure it works. So getting it safe, operable, maintainable and fit for purpose is the challenging bit that keeps us going on a day-to-day basis, and literally just getting finished, getting all the final bits signed off, getting all the assurance in place, and being available to actually ready to hand this magnificent railway over to London Underground. Well, career in railway is fantastic. It is such a diverse, complex, enthralling, magnificent industry to get into, because there's so much that you can do. I started with London Underground way back in 1998, and working from London Underground through the changes that happened in London Underground out to other consultancies, moving over to Bechtel, coming down to Crossrail and working here. There's just so much that you can do, and there's so many great people in the railway industry that you can work with to actually keep London moving, to actually change the focus of a city. One of my focuses when I first started was to get into step-free access, making sure that all the railway is DDA, Disability Discrimination Act compliant, making sure people can get on and off the trains easily, and that kind of work that people do in order to make some of these stations accessible is brilliant. And here on the Elizabeth line, all our stations are accessible, so we've come so far in such a short space of time, but there's still so much more work people can do. So getting into that aspect of it is really good. Really getting to know people, making sure you know who you're dealing with and making sure you know what you're trying to achieve on a daily basis. I've got quite a large team here at Liverpool Street and they're brilliant. The engineers have got a grip on all the technical detail. We've got our planner who's got a grip on the programme. We've got our commercial manager who's got all the commercial detail to hand, and me as project manager just needs to make sure that all that is moving in the right direction, making sure we're actually signing things off where there's issues to be dealt with, actually forcing the issue to conclusion and getting it concluded in order that we can actually hand over the station. But diplomacy is one, not getting phased by what's actually happening. This is a multi-million-pound station and a multi-billion-pound railway, and making sure that you actually do the best that you can actually do in the constraints that we've got. And for me, mine was pretty much a traditional route, but there's many different ways you can go through the educational route to get to being a PM. And the key thing is actually just doing your best. What do you want to do? What do you want to get out of it? And to actually carry on. It's not about getting all your exams done and getting all the A's, B's, C's and whatever it is now getting done, but it's actually having that desire to deliver infrastructure. And actually that desire to get out there and actually do practical work and to make it work. There's many different ways you can do things, and there's many different designers and experts out there who can actually help you design, build, maintain, operate, construct infrastructure that means that you as an individual, if you've got that skill, you can bring that to the table, but there's many different skills that you can bring to the party in order to create this wonderful infrastructure. If I was mentoring people in the industry now, is to actually be positive, be very clear on what you want to do. There is nobody that can say that you can't do something. I did a talk to the Angela Ruskin University a couple of years ago, and I do a presentation where I show my educational route, my grades, and ask people what grades I got, A-levels, and my A-levels, I won't do it on camera what they actually were, but they got me to where I wanted to do. They got me the civil engineering degree, and that's what got me into the railway industry. But there was a lady there who didn't get the grades that she wanted, and she was contemplating actually leaving and finding something else to do. And when she seen my grades, and she went, really, I'm going to try again. I'm going to have one more go at getting the grade that I need in order to be able to do the course that I want in order to get into business management, railway management, and that kind of thing. And it was actually quite nice to be able to say, if that's what you want to do, you need to work at it. No one's going to give it to you. No one's going to deliver it to you on a plate, but what you need to do is actually be very clear on what you want to do and how you want to do it, and then work out a way to do it. So I came the very much traditional route by going to university, but there's BTECs, there's apprenticeships. I've met some fantastic apprentices, and they will go far. The traditional educational route wasn't for them, but the actual practical learning on the job aspect of the work really was, and they will go far, and they will literally be able to be commanders of the industry in times to come.